I think I lead because I like to work with groups of people. I have lots of ideas and energy, and I like to try to build new things and innovate and energize people. I'm always interested in new things, and I'm inspired by people that I work with, and I hope that I can inspire others around me. I think leadership is many things. I think leadership is setting an example for others. I think leadership is organizing people to do new things and to innovate. I think leadership is how to inspire people. And really, I think back to my first point, I think setting an example for others is a good way to be a leader. I think a leader is somebody who has good communication skills. I think a leader is someone who can recognize strengths in other people. I think a good leader is someone who can recognize their own strengths and probably more importantly, their own weaknesses. I think a good leader knows he or she has weaknesses and tries to improve on those and to work with others who can help everyone achieve the goal that they're trying to achieve. My favorite way to work is in a team. I think not a single individual can do everything. Not a single individual is good at everything. I think the most creative projects happen when people come together as a team and everybody brings their talent to the table and everyone shares ideas and feels the freedom to share ideas. And that energizes everyone around them to be at their best and to do their best. You know, I really have to say my parents. I have been very fortunate to have tremendous parents. Both of them are leaders. Both of them have been leaders. Both of them were elementary school principals, so they had to lead a group of educators. I watched them be diplomatic. I watched them be caring. I watched them be tough when they needed to be. I watched them out in the community. Because they were school principals, everyone in my community, a small town, everyone knew my parents, so every place we went, someone walked up to us and spoke to them, and I watched how my parents were very gracious and thanked people and showed respect. And I think growing up, I didn't appreciate that. I did not look at my parents as leaders. I didn't know to do that, and it wasn't until I became an adult and was out on my own and had to perform at work and to get my first faculty job here at UAB and to interview and how to interact with people and build teams that I fully appreciated what values my parents instilled in me and what example they were for me. So my day typically starts at about 4:30 a.m. I like to sleep, so it's not that I just wake up that early, but there's a lot I want to accomplish during the day. I'm very busy and very active. I think the more packed my day is, the more productive I am. If I have too much downtime, then I'm not productive. So I purposely pack my schedule. I like to be busy. So I arrive at work around 7:30 or 8, and I usually don't leave until 6:30, just in time to get to my exercise class. I try to fit exercise in a few times a week. It's really important for all of us to do that. During the day at work, I spend part of my day being Dean of the Graduate School and interacting with students and staff and mentors and instructors and professors. And then in the afternoon, I'm in the research laboratory being a mentor to my students and looking at neuroscience data from our projects and analyzing data and talking to my trainees about their projects. So I have a very dynamic day, both doing administrative tasks and also being a mentor and a teacher. So my day starts at about 4:30 with a cup of coffee and checking my email and watching the news. That gets me ready for the day. I feel prepared that I know what's going on. When I get to work, and even before I get to work, I prepare for meetings that I have during the day. I don't want to attend any meeting without being prepared. I want to know what the meeting is about, what's on the agenda, who's going to be at the meeting, what kinds of questions I may need to ask of the participants at the meeting and what kinds of questions I might be asked. So I want to go to every engagement and meeting fully prepared. That's not always the case because sometimes things come up that I hadn't anticipated, and that's okay. That's, I think, a sign of a good leader who can be flexible and nimble and also have the confidence to say, I didn't think about that, or that hadn't occurred to me, and I'll be able to get back to you on that after I investigate a little bit. So I try to get prepared for the day, but I also think that it's important to be flexible. I think sometimes being too scheduled and too rigid and too regimented impairs one's ability to look outside themselves and look outside the project or the team that they're working with. So I think being nimble and being flexible is really critical to being a good leader, and to making sure that my day doesn't get too frustrating, because things pop up during the day. There are phone calls that come in, or a crisis that might happen, or something important to celebrate that also might happen that I wasn't expecting. So I think that nimbleness is important. So I try to factor that into my day as well. Exercise is critical for the health of our brains. I think a lot of people don't think about that. They think about cardiovascular health. They might think about flexibility, but exercise is one of the best things that we can do for our brain, and it stimulates new neurons in the part of the brain called the hippocampus, which is important for learning and memory. So is that what drives me to exercise? Well, partly. I am a neuroscientist, and I do worry about aging and age-related memory loss, and I worry about brain health. So that's one of the reasons I exercise. The other reason I exercise is really for the community. I like to go to classes. I like to see friends at classes. I like that sense of community. And so I enjoy that as well as the health benefits.